time to try this again. Oh, bollocks. Bon je m'appelle Ross Twaddell, your new bloody Cultaholic champion. Get in, go on. And welcome to one of these WTF moments for TLC 2019, a show that, if you just imagine, was a balloon, but the balloon is not tied at the bottom. If you let go of that balloon, the top half of the balloon is full of air and life, but the bottom of the balloon, by the time the air is sucked out of it, it's flat as a pancake. Yes, the first half of the show was fantastic, but starting from that big baldy bastard Baron Corbin big dog match onwards, it fizzled out. Ooh. But thinking about it, after TLC 2019, we should rename WWE TLC to, and I've written this down so it's good, TLC KS KFC C. Tables, ladders, chairs, kendo, sticks, Kentucky Fried Chicken concussions. It rolls off the tongue. Hit the intro. WTF! But we're starting things with the kickoff show, of course, and yes, I can take Jonathan Coachman calling David Otunga a Harvard Law graduate, because he is. I can take Jonathan Coachman saying that David Otunga is the best dressed man in all of WWE, because those threads of Dave's, they are tight, fam. But Jonathan Coachman calling David Otunga an interviewer extraordinaire. Are you dizzy, blood? If this was a GCSE maths exam, which it now is, because I said so, I'd be saying to you, Jonathan Coachman, show your workings out. It's clear you've used a calculator by calling David Otunga an interview extraordinaire. When's he ever done that thing well? So as we all know by now, because every single pissing time he appears on our television screens, he mentions the bloody thing, Booker T does beard things. But while he was speaking about his beard things on the TLC kickoff show, he said to Charlie Caruso that this brand even does stuff for women, insinuating that women might see a beard product and think, oh, that's not for us. But Booker T's it is, though, just it is. Do not discriminate against Conchita Wurst, Booker T. She did not go through that Eurovision bollocks for treatment like that. And then we had Charlie Caruso on the kickoff show for a professional wrestling pay-per-view, asking a legitimate question: will The Miz make it out alive against Bray Wyatt? One word sprang to my mind when I heard that, and that was what? I mean, at this stage of the night, we did not have a clue what the state of play was with Daniel Bryan. Yes, we knew he had been taken hostage and snatched bald by The Fiend, but we did not know if The Fiend had killed him right in the face. So I guess that, by Charlie Caruso, is a legitimate question. That's a WTF moment by itself, isn't it? Having a panic attack. I'm related to a murderer. And then Charlie Caruso said, kicking off the TLC action tonight, when speaking about that thing there, even though we all know, judging by the order they went through those matches, and judging by what we actually saw on the event itself, we all knew that big baldy bastard Baron Corbin versus Roman Reigns was happening before that thing there, so Charlie was wrong. I'm an arsehole. But I've got some hack theory now. Of course, Charlie Caruso was meant to say that, because at that stage of the night, Vince McMahon did not know that that thing there was going to be his actual main event. He realised when he got to the arena, which he didn't do, according to the news, but for the purposes of the hack theory, let's pretend that he did. He realised he could say, first time ever! Millions of times, and that made him change his mind. That's what happened. No, it didn't. And then we had Jonathan Coachman claiming that this utter bollocks between Lana and Bobby Lashley and my Bane spirit animal Rusev might just be the craziest scandal ever to hit the WWE universe. I don't think it is, you know. Quite frankly, Mr. Coachman, I would be stood here all day long, all night long, all tomorrow long, all the next day long, all week long if I was to list the crazier scandals than that one to hit the WWE universe. There's been bare amounts, fam. Don't buy the sun. And then we had David Otunga, and I need to read this out because these are words I've never heard before in my life. David Otunga asking Lana about her fallacious, vexatious, and downright mendacious conduct. The bloody size of those words, David Otunga. I'm sure that every single bog-standard professional wrestling fan, like me, knew exactly what you were talking about. What? So next up, we have a direct quote from Bobby Lashley, who said to Booker T, Booker T, You need allies in this business, and I didn't have any allies before. How dare you, Bobby Lashley, hurt the precious feelings of Big Baldy Bastard Baron Corbin, Big Daddy, Drew McIntyre, but most importantly, those precious feelings of Lio Rush? Lio Rush made you everything you are today and more. Yes, boys and girls, I miss that pairing very much, and most importantly of all, I miss that pose, Bobby's favourite pose, where he would bend over and show us his ass. It was a great ass, wasn't it? I want you at home to ask me right now, Ross Twaddell, what is one thing you did not expect to see when you flicked on the TLC 2019 kickoff show over the weekend? And I would have told you, boys and girls, Booker T calling Lana a scallywag. That's it, that's the moment. So Jonathan Coachman was running us through the things we saw on last week's Raw, where he said that nobody could have possibly seen this coming. Nobody could have worked out who was behind the AOP attacking Kevin Owens. Nobody could have worked it out. That must be, apart from Jonathan Coachman, every single person watching Seth Rollins' descent from the top babyface in the company to an utter arsehole. And more importantly, Jonathan Coachman, Kevin Owens himself, who, remember, didn't want to team with Seth Rollins to go against the AOP because he worked out that Seth Rollins was aligned with the AOP. And then we have Jerry Lawler saying that we might have another Lana and Bobby Lashley situation when it comes to Andrade and Zelina. He speaks like that. And I was thinking somebody needs to let Jerry Lawler know that Andrade and Zelina's relationship is strictly business. She is his business manager. Zelina's not his wife. She is the wife of, brace yourselves now, Aleister Black. That's a weird one, isn't it? But Jerry, watch the shows, will you? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. A kick in the face. That is how long Humberto Carrillo hung himself there, waiting for Andrade to kick himself in the face. And I know I bring it up every time I see that utter bollocks, but I'm still waiting for somebody to tell me why somebody would hang themselves up like that by their arms when they know somebody else is trying to kick them in the face. That was taking the piss, Humberto, but I still like you. Because of you, I'm the champion now, so I had nice dimples. Now I've got to read this one out as well, because I could not believe my massive ears when Booker T said something along the lines of, Big Baldy Bastard Baron Corbin will go down in the history books as one of the best big men of this generation, working both sides of the fence, making the fans feel a certain way. Now, working both sides of the fence, making the fans feel a certain way, must be Booker T saying that Big Baldy Bastard Baron Corbin is one of the best big men of this generation at working both babyface and heel. And as far as I can see, Big Baldy Bastard Baron Corbin has worked one televised event as a babyface, a SmackDown. A couple of years ago he wrestled Kevin Owens. But why is Booker T saying that then? The only fence I see when it comes to Big Baldy Bastard Baron Corbin is a fence that straddles fields of disappointment, anger and embarrassment. He's great at all those three things. So to the main show we go, and first of all, I just can't, my mind will not accept this being a thing. I cannot accept mere days after somebody broke into somebody else's house, put puppets in a 3-year-old's cot and said, hey puppets, threaten this 3-year-old on my behalf, and then can't accept a couple of days later executives go to this man who broke into somebody's house and threatened an infant child, saying, hey Bray, would you mind reading the little script that goes with our fancy intro to our pay-per-view? And Bray going, yeah guys, no problem, yeah. Why would you approach that man? But then during that promo package we saw this, and that thing there should say friends. Even though it shouldn't say friends, Becky and Charlotte, they aren't friends. They are just teaming together to go against the Kabuki Warriors because collectively they hate the Kabukis more than they dislike each other. Even though they should dislike each other a hell of a lot more than they dislike the Kabuki Warriors, judging by what the Kabuki Warriors have done to them. My brain hurts. 2 Cultaholic signs at TLC 2019. Thank you goes to Big Colton and William Mellon. What a delightfully strong name. Thank you goes to those two for spreading the good name of Cultaholic throughout the WWE universe. Next time you go to a show, do what they have done. Don't know why I got angry. I refuse to accept that sign there says Maggle, even though it might well say Maggle. The only way that Maggle Cole is the man is if the man is not actually a man, and the man is actually an annoying arsehole, because Michael Cole is the best annoying arsehole I've ever seen in my life. Probably apart from me, because I'm one of those too. Dive, duck, dip, dive and dodge. Just about every single thing Kofi Kingston did in that opening match was a bona fide WTF moment, but in a positive way. That bloke's bloody good, isn't he? What a swell guy. Dawson went head face first off the ladder. Is his face his arse, Maggle? Man, I've never seen a move like that. Said professional wrestler and professional wrestling commentator Jerry the King Lawler after my best pal in the entire world, Humberto Carrillo, did a reverse Rana off the middle rope. One question there, Jerry, of course. Do you even watch wrestling? Or do the wrestling, you silly old man? How could you not have seen that? It's 2020, just about. And I cannot have been the only person thinking this. What the hell was Aleister Black thinking with those tights? He looks like he has sharted everywhere. Fuck. Look, lads, he's bleeding, lads. Lads on commentary who try to cover up for the fact that Aleister Black was bleeding. He is definitely bleeding, lads. There is no covering this up. Get this right, boys and girls. Jerry the King Lawler, of all people, was painted to be the only sane man on that Raw commentary team because he saw blood and he called blood. Vic Joseph was sat there going, bloody hell, Aleister Black's been hitting the jaw so hard, he's breathing through his mouth. Jerry Lawler was screaming, ah, his nose is broken. That's why he was breathing through his mouth, Mr. Vic. Now, I know we're not allowed blood, so of course they're going to cover up blood when they see blood, but in my opinion, you just look like a massive fecking idiot if you do that. So if you see blood, call blood. It's not that bad. Dun, 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 dun. There he is, look, he's there. And I cannot have been the only person thinking, look at how many buttons his massive front chompers could actually hit when he didn't mean to hit those buttons. It's unavoidable. That's just, it makes no sense, a man having that big a grill, having that many buttons in front of him. Never ever have I been more jealous of our fellow professional wrestling fans than I was those fans there. I wasn't even as jealous as the creeps who paid their own money to have a picture with Sonny in a random bed. I'm more jealous of those fellas there with a KFC and whatnot. They're definitely fans. Imagine winning a competition to not only win lots of KFC, but win a table inside the ringside area covered with loads of free KFC as you watch it live on a WWE pay-per-view. Unbelievable. What's this? Oh, that thing said those 4 people there are plants, and the bald guy on the end wrestled on Friday's 205 Live, which just shows you how much faith WWE have in 205 Live as a brand that'll draw in viewers. That bald guy on the end is James Tapia, the OC. The OC! The OC answered the Viking Raiders.
My disappointment is immeasurable. And my day is ruined.
And then we have Vic Joseph, who was taking a nice, well-earned break from saying noises like bam and boing and whoosh to ask the question, are we going to see the OC win the titles for a 4th time? And you know where I'm going. It was impossible for the OC to win the Raw Tag Team titles for a 4th time because heading in to that match, and as we stand here right now, unless they won them on Raw last night, I haven't seen Raw yet. We'll just bank on that they didn't. They've only held them for 2 times, which means if they won them again, they could win them for a 3rd. Now, when you see a man the size of Hansen, one question has to be asked when he takes a bump. How much wind is produced by his massive, thick, hairy, sweaty body flying through the air? You know, like an aeroplane jet that creates wind that knocks Bam Margera and people like that over. How much wind is created when Hansen takes a bump in a wrestling ring? Well, you need wonder no more, Wang Pheasants, because we now know the answer. When Hansen falls through the air, I refuse to call him Ivar, because Ivar is a stupid name. When Hansen falls through the air, his falling, massive, girthy body creates a big gust of wind, big enough to knock down a big bald man called Luke Gallows. Handspring elbow ting, gust of wind, Gallows did a Jinder Mahal from Saudi Arabia. Think about it. You know what I'm talking about, don't you? Whisper in the wind, whee. Colour me confused now, boys and girls, which must be, if it was a colour, mauve. Because I was left asking at the end of that Viking Raiders versus OC match, why did the referee not start his count again? 3 of the big sweaty men on the outside the ring. Hansen goes through the ropes. Just continues his count. That's not how it works, is it? Start again, don't you? But of course, people will come to me saying referee's discretion, what the referee says is what... That's a load of bollocks. The referee made a mistake. As once again we saw a fantastic example of WWE booking themselves into a big old corner where they didn't want 2 things in a match to lose. So double count out. The fans love those screwy finishes, don't they? They put smiles on people's faces. This is a smile. Lovely, hot, fresh, succulent KFC was knocked off the table. So much blood was shed. Innocent bodies hit the floor. Dead. Death. Why? By doing what they did to some lovely KFC that was born to be eaten. You robbed them of their life's privilege, Viking Raiders. You turned heel. I cannot believe you would do that. Why would you swipe KFC off a table onto a floor before it's been eaten, you monsters? I cannot do it. I need to go. Eric, I hope you suffer for what you did on Sunday, and you, Carl Anderson. Burn in hell. Mere seconds after seeing yet another infuriating double count-out screwy finish in a WWE match, Kayla Braxton appears on our screen to say, wow, what a great podcast. She didn't really say that, of course. That was a joke. It was a funny. But she does say a lot of exciting action here at TLC 2019. Mere seconds after we saw that. There was a stupid count-out, man, Kayla. What kind of a sick freak do you have to be excited by stupid count-outs, eh? And I now have a message for big baldy bastard Baron Corbin's hired goons. Hello, hired goons. How are you today? Why do you persist in attacking Roman Reigns? One by one, running at Roman Reigns in a straight line. When Roman Reigns' eyes, they point forwards and they'll see you. Don't you realise the odds of 6 on 1 with the 6 surrounding the 1 are better than 1 on 1 with the 1 approaching the 1 than the 1 approaching the 1? Silly hired goons. Oh my tits, a massive revelation at TLC 2019 as big baldy bastard Baron Corbin did the old word life thing, which means one thing: it's time for some hack theory. WrestleMania 36, the retirement match of John Cena. 5 minutes of nothingness before big baldy bastard Baron Corbin retires, another legend for the 2nd year in a row, and big baldy bastard Baron Corbin takes off the crown, takes off the cape, ditches the scepter, and becomes the legend retirer. We're printing money here, boys and girls. It's going to be great. Oh my God, said Michael Cole, and Corbin just hit him with a can of dog food. Dramatic pause. Corey Graves pipes in a full can. Now I don't know why, but Corey Graves feeling the need to clarify that that was a full can of dog food really got to me and just screamed WTF. So that's why we're here. But during that match, I was wondering what the hell big baldy bastard Baron Corbin believes the T in TLC stands for. Millions of tables around the ringside area that he could pick to put Roman Reigns through, but no, they're not good enough for the king. Even though there's millions of tables, he goes to the announce table. Does that hurt more? Did he just do it to piss off Michael Cole? Because if he did, I'm on board with that. But in the same stroke, he's making his best friend in the entire world, Corey Graves' job 10 times harder because the monitors aren't there. What in kayfabe, what's the reason for big baldy bastard Baron Corbin doing that? Please let me know. More hired goons running at Roman Reigns in a straight line, one by one, even though Roman Reigns has eyes that point out the front of the head, and even though Roman Reigns had a big bloody kendo stick. Great. I'm starting to think that hired goons are goons. I don't care what you say, big baldy bastard Baron Corbin is the real locker room leader on Friday Night SmackDown. Count them one by one if you can. I know I struggle too, but big baldy bastard Baron Corbin has 4 main roster friends and then like 100 hired goons on top of that. And going off TLC, of course, supposed locker room leader Roman Reigns has 0 friends, or 1 friend who doesn't want to interfere when he should. Chad Gable, you coward. We can forget about the utter bollocks we saw in the build-up to Survivor Series, you know, when big baldy bastard Baron Corbin on Friday Night SmackDown was trying to hold a locker room meeting. The locker room wouldn't listen to him. Roman Reigns rolls in. He goes, "Hey guys, listen to me." And everyone listened. We can forget about that. The proof is in the pudding. And the pudding was out at TLC and it tasted like ladders. And I know that people like Mustafa Ali were not in the same town as TLC was, but there is zero excuse for people like Chad Gable. All of this just made Roman Reigns look really silly because, of course, Vince McMahon has this weird boner for Roman Reigns working as the underdog. No matter what situation, we have to make Roman Reigns the underdog, even though he's massive and hard and shouldn't really be an underdog. He's a big dog, not a little one. And then Michael Cole, of course, had to call everything that happened in that big baldy bastard Baron Corbin versus Roman Reigns match unfair. This is so unfair, guys. I feel terrible. TLC matches have no rules, Michael Cole. Big baldy bastard Baron Corbin simply did something that Roman Reigns couldn't because big baldy bastard Baron Corbin is the locker room leader and big baldy bastard Baron Corbin has all of the friends. But we did learn something else about Roman Reigns during the course of this match, and that is Roman Reigns does not have the gift of peripheral vision. How the hell did he not see Dolph Ziggler with that flying chair? And we all know, going off this feud, that Roman Reigns is not a human, he's an actual dog. So of course he sees in grey and black and white, he doesn't see in colour. His vision might be a bit gloopy, but I didn't know that dogs didn't have the gift of peripheral vision, but now we do. How did he not see Dolph? A Superman kick to Roman Reigns, said Michael Cole. Die in a hole, said Ross to Michael. So earlier in the night we heard Michael the Miz Mizinin, George's offspring, say the following words in this order. This is the most important match, the most personal match of my entire life. Tonight, I'm not fighting as the Miz. Tonight, I'm not fighting as a WWE superstar. I'm fighting as a husband, as a father, as a man protecting his family. Whoa! First of all, he arrived to this match where he is fighting for the protection of his family, dressed as a dickhead like he always does, doing his dickhead poses on the ropes. Everyone's going to get a picture, haven't they, Miz? And not only that, when the bloke who broke into his house and set puppets on his infant daughter was making his way down to the ring, when he had his back turned on the announce table, Miz supposedly wants to kill Bray Wyatt for what he did to Monroe Sky, but he just stood there. Because even though you want to kill a man for putting your daughter in danger, you must abide the rules and be polite, mustn't you? And not only that, when the bell rung, yes, we saw a few crappy kicks from The Miz at the start of the match, but predominantly, The Miz wrestled a mat-based match with holds and stuff like that. Nothing screams desperation to protect your family and avenge this diddler's doings by an arm thing. Whee! And as Richard Tubman just said off the camera, he was trying to break his arm, was he? Bray was going, do it! Do it! Miz, you completely missed the mark with your performance in this match. The match that you wrestled was for a different storyline, a different scenario, different everything. It was just off the mark. But as for the match itself, The Miz did his stuff. Bray Wyatt hit 2 moves. Bray Wyatt won. And then The Miz, who wanted to kill this man for what he did to his daughter, just vanished. Didn't try and get his own back. Didn't do a Dave Benson Phillips. He just vanished. But just before The Miz was making his silly, nonsensical entrance, we saw that shot there. And we heard, Michael Cole sucks. Michael Cole sucks. Michael Cole sucks. Man in crowd, you're all right, you are. What the hell is that? Screamed Michael Cole when he laid eyes upon the same hammer Michael Cole looked at Hell in a Cell a couple of months ago. You were there commentating on that match, Michael Cole. I know the crappy red lighting might have hindered your vision just a little bit, but let me remind you, it was that match where Big Hammer was good, but Little Hammer, that was too far. Call it off. It wasn't Seth's call, you know what I mean, though. It's the final countdown. You're all going to get your uffin head kicked in. But of course, with every big moment that happens in WWE, the big old return of Daniel Bryan was utterly ruined by Michael Cole, who now must be stopped at all costs. Shoot him in the head. Don't do that. Punch him. We see a little man in a hoodie do Daniel Bryan's running knee. We then see this little man turn around. We see 3/4 of his face. But even though we've seen the little man do a Daniel Bryan thing with half of Daniel Bryan's face, looking like Daniel Bryan does in stature, Michael Cole still has to shout, "Could it be?" Get in the bin, man, Michael, will you? But it is amazing to see that only with a beard trim and a haircut, Daniel Bryan looked quite literally 10 to 12 years younger than he did the last time we saw him on Friday Night SmackDown. I'm going to take up veganism because look at how pretty Daniel Bryan's skin is. It's lovely. Direct quote from Jerry Lawler now when he was speaking about the Lana and Lashley and Rusev thing. He said, "It reminded me of my first wife. She wanted to have Olympic sex. The punchline was every 4 years." He's like 70 years old. And then he said, "I understand Lana's pictures are being used as currency in that Nashville jail." One question, Jerry. I mean, there's loads of questions about that statement, but the main one is how do you know that's happening inside the Nashville jail? Insert your own answer there. And then we have the following direct quote from a very excited Vic Joseph following Lashley's wonderful win over my Bane Spirit animal, Rusev. That's the only time I'll want you to lose, Ruru. But an excited Vic said at the top of his lungs, "I can only imagine the night that Lana and her hot boyfriend Bobby Lashley are going to have tonight here in Minneapolis. One message from me here, Vic, and that is settle down, you pervert." So Roman Reigns and Big Baldy Bastard Baron Corbin are still fighting, and the New Day, who I guess could have been in the trainer's room when Big Baldy Bastard Baron Corbin and Roman Reigns' match was going on, preventing them from coming out to help the big dog. Chad Gable, who had no excuses, remember, look there, he is even wearing his gear. They are there helping Roman now, but where were they to prevent Roman Reigns from looking like a massive numpty when he was saying, "I'm the locker room leader, but I've got no friends"? Where were they earlier? I hope we get an answer. We won't, but I hope we do. The only way to win one of these matches is to climb the ladder and grab the titles. So in a match where the champions challenged the challengers to challenge them for a match which proves that Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair want to be there. They want to win this match. In a match where they have to climb the ladder to get the titles to win, they are stood there, not climbing. I'm vibrating. They are stood there, not climbing the ladder when they should be climbing the ladder. They wanted to win because they hate the Kabuki Warriors so much. They hate the Kabukis more than they hate each other, which must be a hell of a lot because it's Charlotte and Becky, yet they seemingly didn't want to win the match. Even though they didn't have to do the match because the champions challenged And then in this same match where the only way to win this match is to climb the ladder and to grab the titles with one half of the champions KO'd and the other half crawling under the ring. You can't get to the ladder from under the ring. Instead of climbing the ladder, the challengers went outside to retrieve one of the champions from under the ring. Fuck. Is nobody else seeing the issue here? I get that Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch hate the Kabuki Warriors. They wanted to hurt, maim the Kabuki Warriors. But they also didn't have to take on this match. Did they want to win the titles and take... Fuck. And the way Kairi Sane's heed stuttered off the floor there left me making one noise, and that noise was oof. Now, I've seen all of the fallout from this online with every single person and their dog and their cat and their hamster blaming Charlotte Flair. Yes, I recognise the slap on the floor to Kairi Sane was unnecessary, petulant, and yes, the power bomb, even though Kairi Sane clearly didn't want to do it, that was hard to watch. Charlotte Flair is a very strong woman. If she wants to power bomb you, she's gonna power bomb you. But I don't think this is all Charlotte Flair's fault. Now, I'm stood here in front of you, a hack on YouTube who knows nothing about professional wrestling, but I do know that referees in a match play a very important role. When something goes wrong, the referees get word in their ear, then they tell the wrestlers. The referees, I'm thinking, did not let Charlotte Flair know that Kairi Sane was buggered. If you look just before the slap happens, that's when Becky Lynch talks to Kairi Sane. Then while she's talking to the referees, Kairi walks from the side of the ring, and that's when the messed up spear happened. If Charlotte Flair didn't know, there's not much Charlotte Flair can do. Yes, she could take the hint, but we haven't been in that situation. Well, you know, adrenaline's pumping, live crowd, all that bollocks. It does weird stuff to you, I've heard. Now, I'm not defending Charlotte Flair. Watching Kairi Sane do what she did in that match was both amazing to see because she put her body through hell, but also painful because it was clear she was hurt. But oh well. Thankfully, of course, Becky Lynch did see what was going on, did speak to Kairi Sane, did speak to the referees, and Kairi's role in the match was then reduced. But bloody hell, get your pitchforks down. Ah, fiddlesticks! We saw you, Charlotte. And then we have another direct quote from Jerry Lawler this time, who said that should be it for Kairi Sane, but out of nowhere, Kabuki Warrior number 1 or 2, Asuka, shows up. Yet another sign that the world has passed Jerry Lawler by. This is not the first time, WWE. You've got Samoa Joe now. It's Jerry Lawler. Now I'm making the following WTF moment a WTF moment that you need to go back and watch in this match. Go and watch every single Becky Lynch chair shot. All of them. They are pathetic. As I said before, I'm a hack who knows naught about professional wrestling. But I've heard DDP on Joe Rogan's podcast say chair shots, you just agree, it's going to hurt, no malice intended, bop, shake hands afterwards. But Becky, And I know that Kairi was hurt towards the end of the match, but this was happening all match long, as far as I can see, unless I've remembered things incorrectly. If I have, I do apologise, but I don't think I have. Becky, whack them, man! And we end this WTF Moments for TLC 2019 with Asuka once again for the second year in a row, the last pay-per-view of the year, getting overshadowed by somebody else. Last year it was Ronda Rousey, this year it was a brawl that everyone was so invested in, and that was clearly necessary to close out this pay-per-view because everyone's on tenterhooks. What could happen with big baldy bastard Baron Corbin? Too much of him, man. But yes, Asuka got a big win. How about a novel concept in the future? If she does get a big win at the end of another pay-per-view, let her hold the belt up and close the show that way. She was undefeated for about 10 years in NXT, man. She's a big bloody deal. Was a big deal. They've killed her, haven't they? Oh. And that is it for all the WTF moments from TLC, KS, KFCC 2019. First half good, second half bad. Thanks for watching. Let us know what you think in the comments below. You can follow us on Twitter at Cultaholic. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Cultaholic. And if you enjoy what we do here at Cultaholic, you can play us to our Patreon page, patreon.com/Cultaholic. Hit subscribe and join us.